Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video we're gonna be talking about all the books I've read through 2024, and I have a very mixed lineup coming your way, so be prepared, buckle up your seatbelts and let's get into it. So this year has been very weird in terms of reading because I have been going through so much emotionally that I feel like I've not fully been able to commit to reading. Like every time you try to read, you need to have like your focus to kind of get into books, and I've just been lacking that highly. I've been like subconsciously zoning out, and so I've had a really hard time starting new books this year. On my Instagram, which you should follow me by the way, I have this highlight called books where I just add like a review of like all the books I've read, and I see there is not one single story from 2024. So it's not like I haven't read any books, but it's that I've read so little that I didn't even bother putting them up on my stories. I literally had holes in my memory, like I could not even remember what books I've read this year, but I've got my shit together now and I've got a huge pile, some are PDFs, so let's dive right into it. Okay, so the first few books I read are actually from the Twisted series, which is such a cliche to start from. I've actually already read the first book like a year or two ago, and I absolutely hated it. It was so cringe. Literally do not recommend. Like, it was just the most poorly written Wattpad book ever. But the thing with me is that if I start a series or a show or anything, I have to finish it. Like, even if I hate a book and I start it, I cannot leave it unread. So that's exactly what happened here. A few years later, I was like, let me give this another shot, because I keep seeing all these like TikToks and reels about it, and I read the second book, which is Twisted Games, and then I did like it a lot more than the first one, and so I was like, might as well read all three of them. I think the second one is kind of like the best one. That's what hooked me into actually reading the entire series, and I feel like the last one is the second best, so I would rate it like Twisted Games, Twisted Lies, Twisted Hate, and then Twisted Love. Like, that's the ranking I would give each individual book. This whole series is about like four best friends, so it starts off in the first book like Twisted Love with one best friend and her romance, and even the guy characters are kind of interlinked. They are a bit cringe, but like just the right amount. Like, they don't want to make you throw the book at a wall, but I feel like again it's just a very like average love story Wattpad book, like nothing extraordinary that I would be like, you must read this. But if you just want to pick up something light-hearted like romance, slightly spicy, like go for this. Like, not the worst choice. Then next up, I reread the book Normal People. It is literally my favorite book. Actually, it's my second favorite. My first favorite is Song of Achilles, and Normal People is my second favorite book in the entire world. I've reread it multiple times, and this year I actually reread it because I annotated it for a friend, and that was the last time I read it. Like, I haven't read it throughout the year. I don't have my copy right now because it's with them, but it's literally about two characters named Marian and Connell, and their relationship, their friendship, just their connection throughout the years. I think almost 10 years, I'm not sure about the exact number, but it's literally so beautifully framed, how they're always there for each other, how they always appreciate each other, and you know, just like their individual life stories, their life story when they come together, and it is so beautifully written. I love Sally Rooney. So that one is definitely a reread, but an amazing read regardless. So if you wanna pick a book to read that one, but be prepared for a traumatic ending. The next book I read is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I actually read this on a little vacation I went to in Udaipur, I think, and I absolutely loved this. So I basically went to attend a wedding, and before the functions I was actually in my room reading this book. It was so good. It's about this like really out there, outgoing girl who lives in like a big city. So her mom and her stepdad basically send her to the small town where her dad was raised, and he's obviously not there anymore, but she ends up meeting this guy, and it's their love story and how they're so different and they initially don't like each other. But I thought it was really funny, it was really cute, like actually gave me butterflies and not cringe. But this one was not actually cringe. It was so engaging, so funny, and actually has a lot of good character development, and the girl also is not shown like some shallow, superficial person. Like, she comes off like that, but they show how much depth her character actually has, which is true, because I feel like girls are often dismissed for doing girly things and just being like, oh, you're just like a girly girl and you're not really smart and blah blah blah, and this shows her other side, and I love how the guy accepts both. So that is that. The next book I read, okay, I get it. I was going through it, as I said, and I was having a hard time not only getting into new books, but focusing on things with like a lot of literary value. So I was reading your most Wattpad-esque teen rom-com situations. Do not come at me, okay? I needed comfort, I needed romance, I needed to live, okay? Let a girl live. I reread After. Now listen, I have no shame. This is one of my favorite books ever. Like, if we're gonna read cringe Wattpad anyway, I would reread After and the series 1,000 times because it makes me feel things. It's literally like your first love. Like, I used to read Wattpad as a kid all the time, which is not the best idea for kids, but I got reintroduced to Wattpad because of After, and that's when I fell in love with it, and that's when I was at this age of kind of comprehending it in a better way. I read it in like first year of college, I think, and I absolutely love the whole series. Like, it's a little cringe, but like I cannot get over it and I keep rereading it. And she is huge, like she is 600 pages or something, so I basically did take up a lot of time in rereading her, and I feel like this was one of the things where you're in the mood to reread something, you know the story, you're like, oh, I kind of want to reread After, and then you start reading it and you think like you're freaking Steph Borer, you think you're gonna like read this up in like 24 hours, but it literally takes you 2 weeks, and you start reading it with like a completely different intention. Like, you're ovulating and you're like, oh my god, let me reread After, and then 2 days later you're done ovulating and you're like, I do love you, like listen, it's like exactly like your first love. You're like, listen, I do love you, but I don't think this is working out, but you just kind of like don't want to let go. Guys, I swear to god, I am just making this shit up as I go, but you know what I mean. Like, I was like, I just want to finish the whole thing. I did not want to leave it unread, and so I finished the entire thing, however long it took me. If you're still watching the video, I'm doing another giveaway where I'll be giving away one of you guys one book on your TBR, so comment down the book emoji to participate and keep on watching. Now the next book I read is this book which I took with me to Bali. It's called The Gentleman from Peru by Andre Osiman, and I actually have read Call Me By Your Name. It's by the same author, and I really like that book. I love the writing style of it, so I was really excited to try this out, and I was totally not biased to the cover. I did not see this and think how perfect would this be for pictures in Bali. It was totally a logical decision, but genuinely I did end up liking this book, not as much as Call Me By Your Name. Like, his books just have like a very poetic like undertone to them, so obviously like the plot is good, but also there's like not a lot of substantial things happening, more vague and fleeting and like literary. I don't know if those are the right words, but it is just more like poetic and like to feel your feels rather than go too much for the story, if you know what I mean. I did like it didn't make me cry, but I don't know if this will be everyone's cup of tea, so maybe read Call Me By Your Name by this author first, and then if you like that, you'll probably like this. But maybe if you just pick this one up, you just might feel like it's a bit dramatic for you. I don't know if that makes sense. Then I read another Sally Rooney book. It's called Mr. Salary. This book was 400 rupees on Amazon. I thought it would be like a legit book. Are you seeing the size of that thing? I paid 400 rupees for this. You're not even ready. See the freaking text size, like the font size? Girl, Sally Rooney, what is this about? But this was a short story. Again, if you're reading for the plot, I don't think you're gonna like this, but if you're a Sally Rooney fan, you just want to experience her writing style, it's a very short, I don't know what this is called, I'm just gonna call it a short story. But if you're a Sally Rooney fan, you're probably gonna like this, you're probably gonna enjoy her writing style. But if you're not, you're gonna be like, what the frick was the point of this? And this was a very one-sitting read. It's literally 30 pages, and it's like fun to take to a cafe and just get your coffee and just be off your phone for an hour and just read this story. Now the next series of books I read is actually the Edge of Darkness trilogy. Now I totally randomly picked up this trilogy, not knowing what to expect. I just saw this random reel about the main character Cade, and I was like, sounds interesting, let me go read it, because why not, right? And I read one chapter. I read the whole trilogy in a week. It was 900 pages, like 300 pages of book on a PDF, 3 books, 1 week. I read it all. I read it on the toilet, I read it on the freaking way to work, on the train. I read it every breathing moment. Now listen, it's really spicy and there is a lot of trigger warnings, but it's not just smut. That's what I loved about it. I feel like if it's a spicy book, it's only gonna be like bang 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 and like no romance, or like the other way around, like it's too mellow and there's nothing hot happening. But this was like the most beautiful, perfect meltdown of both the things. Like there was an actual love story, there was an actual like backstory, so you don't feel like when you start reading the book they've actually like dated before and then they broke up for some reason and you're seeing the relationship navigate now. So it's not like you don't know anything about the characters, it's not like you don't know about their story and you're just reading for the first time and you're just like building up to it, because it keeps alternating between the past and the present, which I love, because now I'm also getting an alternate romance happening in the past and I'm getting a build up in the presence like of tension, and it is literally perfect. You're getting to know more about the characters. Then there is a lot of like, I mean it's not exactly mafia, but there are a lot of like criminal activities involved, and like it's a proper like Bonnie and Clyde, really good book. So read the trigger warnings if you're into all that kind of things, like maybe read the back of the book or something. I don't know if that gives enough information away, but if you're into slightly spicier romances, read these books. They were so good, and all three books are about the same couple and I absolutely ate them up. I loved them. Like that couple has my heart, that guy has my heart, and if you read them, do not think, Khushi, are you mentally stable? Do not think that. I hold no accountability for recommending these books, so read at your own risk, okay? And after the Edge of Darkness trilogy, I started reading this. It's called Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I'm only 100 pages in. I do like it a lot so far, and this one I'm just gonna have to finish before I give you a review, but I do aim to finish it in 2024. And the last and the final book I'm gonna read in 2024 that I haven't read yet is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I literally love Sally Rooney, as I have already mentioned. Like that's my third book from her this year, but basically it actually releases this year. So when it released, I was gonna go and buy it, but the delivery was showing 30th November. This was literally back in the start of October, and then my friend said like, hold on girl, don't order it, I actually already pre-ordered it for you. It's December now and she still has not given me the book because she ordered it to her Delhi address and now she has to get it shipped here. But that is the book I plan to finish the year with. So these two books, Powerless and Intermezzo, I plan on reading by the end of this year, and that is my 2024 wrap up. I'm not sure if I missed out on any books. I am positive that I didn't, and hopefully you guys liked it. I haven't been the biggest reader this year, and I know these books can be like, Khushi, that's literally crazy, that was my reading goal sort of thing, but I do aim to read like at least 2 books a month, and I definitely could not keep up. But I don't mind. I think I was doing a lot of other positive, progressive things in life, and I feel like by the end of this year I really have gotten back into my flow with like the Edge of Darkness series, the Powerless book, and hopefully we can flow with that energy into 2025. Let me know if you like my recommendations, what you have read, what you recommend I should read. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys liked it. Let me know what's on your TBR for 2025 and what's your favorite book from 2024. Let's talk about it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!